Good evening, guys and gals. Oh dear, looks like are we allowed to use that term anymore? You know what I mean, with the gender lobby. But I'd like to welcome you to the stream. On tonight's show, we are discussing males invading women's sports and the chaos and condemnation that it is causing. Why should a biologically born male, however they identify, be given a platform to cheat and full access to women-only spaces by sporting bodies? In the last couple of years, outrage across the Western world has erupted over allowing biologically born males, who now identify as women, to access female sports. I mean, how does that work, that you just identify as a woman, and suddenly you women's sports, women's spaces, and everything else? I mean, should we have ever allowed biologically born males to be able to identify as women? Should we have ever have allowed that in the first place? Leah Thomas, Laurel Hubbard, Jamie Hunter, Fallon Fox, Alexia Serenis, Chelsea Wolfe, Tiffany Abraham, Chloe Anderson, Hannah Munsey, Natalie Van Gogh, and Savannah Burton. Wow, there is no shortage of biologically born males simply identifying as women, usually very badly, but participating in female sport. The truth is that males have an undeniable physical and likely mental advantage over females. It doesn't take a rocket scientist or brain surgeon to know this, So why are we allowing biologically born males into women's spaces? It's completely out of the order. It's completely out of order, should I say. What is this obsession with males simply identifying as women and everybody, sporting bodies, dropping the rules, regulations, fairness, and women's rights, and everything gets dropped? Suddenly, I identify as a woman, and then everything is dropped, rules, regulations, fairness, everything, to allow for biologically born males to simply take over women's sports. Well, on his first day of the presidential office, pensioner Joe Biden signed a historical executive order which mandated any school which receives federal money to allow biologically boys who say they are girls onto the girl-only sports team, or else they'll lose federal money, which the school clearly not. I mean, the school clearly cannot survive without that money. Pensioner Biden is no ally to women and girls, and I'm not really sure he's an ally to the LGB, that's the lesbian, gay, and bisexual community. He's no ally there. He's got his own agenda. It looks like all sporting bodies have been captured with trans ideology and allow males, despite a biological advantage, to be given a platform to cheat. And I keep saying a platform to cheat because they are being given a platform to cheat. And full access to women's spaces, which includes changing rooms, showers, and toilets. It's kind of appalling, really. It's kind of wrong. It's kind of unfair. But luckily, some sporting bodies have taken heed of activists and the bad press that they're receiving. Okay, and finally, they're starting to change their ways and stopping biological males, biologically born males, however they identify, from participating in women's sports. I don't understand why biologically born males have been allowed in harsh sports, particularly like boxing, martial arts, and cage fighting, in the first place. And we've seen the consequences when Fallon Fox, for example, participated in female-only martial arts and, once fractured the skull of her opponent. And that was in 2014. It's, why are biologically born males, which we used to be allowed to call men, taking over women's sports and doing this to women. It's, you would have thought that the MMA, okay, would have done something back then. You'd have thought that they would have dealt with this back then. You'd have thought that after that with Fallon Fox, you'd have thought, oh, this is dangerous. This is a biologically born male hitting a woman. You would have thought that would have been the case, but unfortunately, it's taken until now to sort this problem out in women's sports. Hello, Defiance. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the stream. Very, very nice having you there. Hello. Nice. So we're talking about, why biologically born males are invading women's sports tonight. So please, fire away with chat. If you want to chat about anything, we can chat away. But the women of yesteryear really fought hard to be able to participate in their own sports, and fought hard. They fought hard for their own sports, and society owes it to these brave women to maintain this important right. Women owe it to themselves, really, to keep female-only sports intact, because if you allow biologically born males to simply say they're women and take over it, women's sports will be lost forever. I'm witnessing time and time again biologically born males walking away with females sporting medals, female sporting titles, and above all, the money, the winnings. Lots of winnings are being taken now by biologically born males. The biologically born males are taking the money in women's sports. It should really pique people. Can I pique the women out there, please? Biologically born males are taking harder money, from, women, from biologically born females. Please do peak. Please complain. Please speak out about this. That's what I really appreciate you do, is to speak out, because, soon, if we carry on the way we are, women's sports will become a thing of the past. But it pains me to see on social media, particularly Twitter, that women, in fact, everybody, but women are sometimes, are speaking up and supporting biologically born males in female-only sports. Now, there's a lot of people fighting against it. A lot of women are standing up now and saying no. A lot of their allies of men and gay men and lesbians and bisexuals now standing up and saying no. But there's still quite a few out there that are supporting these biologically born males. Because I'm witnessing these biologically born males walking away with women's rights, titles, medals, and winnings. And I really do hope that women will start to be piqued, because it will ruin your sports. And I'm also seeing, which is really horrifying, that these biologically born males are actually destroying women's sports. In the way that they're taking over, they're winning the medals. It's going to come soon if this carries on at the rate it is, that biologically born males are the ones who are going to win, and it's women who are just going to participate. I do hope that people see that. I do hope that the women out there particularly can see that and start joining these local women's groups. There's many over the Turf Island at the moment. Loads of sprouting up. Let's get that in America, and let's fight back of the males that are stealing women's medals, of the males that are destroying women's sports. Let's peak. Let's everybody speak out. And I think we are seeing a lot of people speaking out, but let's speak out. Let's stop this. Let's stop biologically born males wrecking women's sports, because if we don't stop that now, it will get worse. It will wreck women's sports further, and women's sports will become a thing of the past. These poor young women spend their lives training hard for the sport that they love, to chase their dream. For it to be unfairly snatched by a biologically born male is horrifying. Think about what's happening, and think about where you should stand. If you're out there and you're thinking, should I get involved in this debate? Yes, you should. And yes, you should complain about these biologically born males who are participating in women's sports and wrecking sports. You know, it's simple, you know, because biologically born males clearly have a biological advantage. It's very clear. I just noticed Amy's in. Hello, Amy. Welcome to the stream. I really appreciate you being here. Yeah, today we're talking about males invading women's sports. I've got quite a lot to talk about and quite a lot of women out there to peak. So hopefully I'm going to try and peak a lot of people. This has been cross-platform to quite where it goes all over, and I'm hoping that other people are going to see this in the future. You know what I mean? And I'm hoping to peak a lot of women out there, but also the guys. It's the guys, because the guys need to peak, and they need to speak out as well, because it's about your wives, and it's particularly about your daughters who are spending their lives dedicated to a sport of what they love, and they're dreaming about this sports and dreaming about, you know, how far they can come in it and winning it, and then suddenly the title is snatched by a biologically born male. It's really outrageously unfair. So please, if you're a guy out there as well, please speak out. Speak out for your daughters. Speak out for your wives. Speak out for your sisters, you know, because women's sports is being attacked. And if we don't do anything about it, women's sports will cease to be. Right. So the question that I wanted to ask is, are these biologically born males who identify now as women really breaking records? You know, after all, if they were in the correct sex category, i.e. male, and they achieved exactly the same time or goal, or however that sport works to win, it wouldn't actually be breaking a record. So why are sporting bodies allowing males, because that's what they're giving the record-breaking title, but other males who achieve the same result in other categories are not, you know, in their own male category. So they're giving people the record-breaking titles simply because they're competing with women, even though they're just a mediocre male, even though these people are very often a waste of space. So I'm just going to read Defiance. It says, when FINA made their decision about whether to allow T people in women's swimming, they consulted their female swimmers, and 82% said no. And that, yeah, absolutely. And so in us, FINA didn't listen to women. You know, FINA didn't listen. They just ignored women, and it's unbelievable. It's terrible. It's absolutely terrible that women are being ignored, you know, in favor of biologically born males who are going into the sports and ruining it. They're ruining it for everybody. So I do ask, you know, please do speak out. Please, you know, speak out, because it's really important, you know, that we save women's sports. And I see that hashtag trend across lots of social media sites, and that hashtag is trending for a reason, that we really do need to save women's sports. It's really, really important. It's why have sporting bodies across the world succumbed to gender ideology and ignoring women, you know, who are clearly saying, no, we don't want biologically born males in our sports? Why have they allowed a minority trans lobby to dictate the sport for the overwhelming majority of the rest of the population? Because they have, you know, they clearly have listened to biologically born males, listened to the trans lobby, and ignored all the women, you know, who are clearly saying no. And that's so bad. It's so wrong. It's time these sporting bodies listen to women. It's time these sporting bodies listen to me. You know, anybody knows that males have got a biologically born advantage. So therefore, they shouldn't be in female sports, however they identify. Yep. So males competing in female-only sports run into safety issues. You know, whoever thought it was reasonable to allow males in female-only boxing concerns me greatly. Any intelligent person can actually see the risks. Oh, and now they can, because, you know, now they can see it. Yeah, they are starting to see it. Boxing are starting to see it now. You know, little bit, you know, too little, too late. You know what I mean? But at least they are starting to see it, because English, Irish, and New Zealand boxing have stopped the practice of allowing biologically born males, however they identify, in their close contact boxing. Yeah, because they're seeing the dangers. They're seeing the cheating, for starters. They're seeing the dangers. They're seeing how degrading it is for women, and they're seeing what it's doing for women's sports. Better late than never. I'm actually proud of the boxing, of English boxing, Irish boxing, and even New Zealand boxing for doing this. I'm quite proud of it, and I'm quite glad that they're one of the first sporting bodies to actually do that, because not many sporting bodies have changed at the moment. But I think we're going to see that in the future, but only if we push, only if, you know, everybody pushes these sporting bodies to come back to reality, to come back to fairness, and to come back to safe sports. Yep, it is good news, Defiance. It's really good news that they've done it. It's brilliant. Yeah, I'm proud of them. Do you know what I mean? And I'm proud of boxing, because it's one of the first, as I say, it's one of the first bodies that have, you know, stopped biologically born males in the sports. I mean, it should have done. I don't know how males ever were allowed to box females. I've never understood that, but I'm so glad and so proud that it's they've changed the ways, you know, and they've come back to reality, and they, you know, it's good. But I wonder if it was a management change in boxing. I wonder if it was different people realizing the mistakes that were made, and they were mistakes. You know, is it the fact that, you know, the people who made these rules have moved on, and now all of a sudden, you know, it's a case of that there's new people discussing, you know, what's right and what's wrong. But I mean, anybody can see what's wrong. But I really condemn the people who allowed this in the first place, because women said no. And I'm saying no on behalf of women as well. There is a word for men who fight with women. I wonder, you know, and we all know what it is, but I won't announce it on YouTube. But there is a word for men who fight with women, and it's not a very nice word, and it's not a nice thing to do. Yeah. So, you know, anyone out there, what do you think to males really invading female sports? Let us know in the comments. If you like, you know, if you like women's sports, you know, and respect women's sports, you know, let me know in the comments, you know, what you think about this, because the more people that speak out, the more comments we get, you know, the more people that suggest, you know, because you never know who's reading these comments, who's watching this. You just never know. Let sporting bodies know how you feel. Do you know what I mean? Because, you know, don't let sporting bodies wreck women's sports, you know. So give us a comment, you know, let us know. I could announce it on here, you know, but do comment and let me know your opinion, because I'd be interested. So yeah, that's the women's sports. It's not very nice, really, for women over the years, and it's been a lot of years where these, you know, biologically born males have been in women's sports. It's not really, you know, fair to women, you know, to allow somebody with a biological advantage to participate in. And we've seen it. There's no shortage of these biologically born males who now identify as women that are in these sports. What we need to do is simply, you know, stop it. You know, it's if trans women and biologically born males cannot be in boxing, well, then they shouldn't be in other sports. And this is exactly what we've said all along. You know, trans rights and trans lobby, all this trans nonsense is like a balloon, you know, and it's starting to happen now. If you can't be in boxing, and biologically born males can't be in the triathlon sports, then why should they be in other sports? And it's going to pop, this balloon, soon. This balloon's just going to pop, and all this nonsense that came into our society is just going to collapse. And that's it. So let's all these activists out there keep up the great work of removing biologically born males out of all women's female only sports, because we need to save women's sports. Right, so I'm going to move on to some other things now. I'm talking about a petition. There's a live petition that requires swimming venues, or is asking, is petitioning to require swimming venues to maintain single-sex or private changing facilities for women away from males, which is fair enough. I mean, I cannot believe that in 2022 we have to petition and campaign to stop males being in female spaces. It's really bad. But there's details of this petition in the comments. Please do sign, and even more importantly, share, because let's bring this issue and this petition to as many people as attention as possible. You never know, it might pique people too. That's the whole thing. You know, let's pique more people. Let's bring this petition information to show exactly what's happening, that women are saying no in Hampstead Heath ponds and other swimming places and sports centres all over the world now, in America. You know, women are saying no. So let's, you know, bring these these single sex spaces left back, should I say. You know, it's appalling, really, that it has come to this. And again, this has been done on the gay rights platform. So, you know, if you're lesbian, gay and bisexual out there, speak out about it, because it's been done on your platform. People think this is a gay issue. When I talk to people and they're talking about this business in, you know, women's sports, they talk about this single sex space issue. They're talking about what's happening to the children. They are blaming gay people. They're blaming gay and lesbian and bisexual people for doing this. They don't realize what a trans lobby is. A lot of people, especially the older people, they don't understand the trans lobby. They think that this is all a gay issue. And if you don't get them off your platform, if you don't get the tea off your platform, okay, this is going to come back to haunt you. You will lose. I mean, they're all saying that, you know, in the Western world, that gay rights is going backwards. It is going backwards, and it will get worse if you don't get this tea off your platform. So yeah, please do sign that petition. That's it's quite a good one, and I'm really glad that this has been campaigned. Again, women are saying no, so let's get them out. And also, please help the professional registered charity LGB Alliance defend their charity status. Don't let a ghastly organisation like Mermaids attack LGB Alliance like this. I've explained what mermaids are like. I'm going to explain that in future streams. Don't let this ghastly organisation win. They haven't got a cat in hell's chance of winning. The problem is that LGB Alliance have got to defend it, and they're having to raise £250,000 in order just to defend something that is so ridiculous. I've seen what mermaids have put forward to try and you know, to bring this case about, and it's all nonsense. It's all silly. So again, don't let this stupid mermaids organization win. Do you know what I mean? Please donate if you can, and again, please share. Get this out to as many people as possible, because people are reading this. I mean, more and more people are waking up to gender nonsense anyway, but this is when this keeps being brought into people's attention. They're seeing this more and more. They're seeing what in women's sports. They're seeing single sex spaces being eradicated. They're seeing what's happening in the gender clinic. It's all in the press. It's all across social media. Just keep pushing it out there, and people are peaking. People are definitely peaking. I'm seeing more and more people peaking. More and more people are contacting me. More and more people are following my channels. Of course, I've got a lot of social media. You know, it's working. It really is. We really need to basically peak more people, and that's the job of what I'm trying to do, is to peak people out there. So speaking of tea, did you try the peach iced tea? Right, so I have got my neighbor, because I helped them with the fence a little bit. They bought me some peach, not peach, lemon, sorry, iced tea. It wasn't iced tea, it was hot tea actually, and a lot of sugar in it, but I quite enjoyed it, and it's really helped when I got the cold and the COVID, so I was drinking a little bit of that. The peach iced tea. Now yes, I did. I think the peach iced tea is what I had, and I've got the peach iced tea. Yes, I have, and I make 500 milliliters of it, and it's nice. It's nice. It's a good one. Yeah, So it's delicious, and I'm actually drinking coffee at the moment, believe it or not. But it is, the peach one is quite nice, so I did try it. It was delicious, yeah. So yes, okay, let's move on. Yeah, so the details of the crowdfunder in the information, okay, below. Please do try and pick. I know there's been a lot said about LGB Alliance. I did a stream, I think it was a couple of streams ago, about the LGB Alliance. You know, a lot of crap's been said about them, a lot of smears and everything. You know, if you're a gay, lesbian, and bisexual person, you don't have to support LGB Alliance. You know, it's you don't have to support LGBT Alliance if you don't want to, but you know, the fact of the matter is that other people do. A lot of lesbian and gay and bisexual people out there actually do, and I saw that last year in that when I attended the conference to the LGBT Alliance, it was packed out with, you know, there was quite a lot of lesbians and gay and bisexual people there, and there will be this time, you know. So you know, if you don't want that, if you don't want to support the other, then you don't have to. Do you know what I mean? But don't condemn LGBT Alliance when you're not condemning a lot of other charities which actually, and I'm talking about charities that actually speak against gay people, that actually do a lot worse, you know. Well, actually LGBT Alliance is not doing anything against the LGBT community, but these charities are. So if you're going to speak about LGBT Alliance, make sure you actually rake up all the other charities, okay, that are not in the interest of LGBT people as well. But you know, as we all know, that the LGBT Alliance, there are other agendas, you know, and why isn't Mermaids fighting against these other charities regularly that speak out and actually damage, you know, LGBT people and their rights? You know what I mean? It's amazing, really. It just shows what crap Mermaids really are. They're really disgraceful, and I would be looking forward to a day when Mermaids are finished. I really will, and I think that might happen because they've got a lot of bad publicity. Mermaids, a lot of people hate them, rightfully hate them, and yeah, I think that'd be good. Right, okay. Another thing that was brought to my attention was, let's talk about the Green Party. They're notorious about notoriously captured, should I say, by the trans ideology. It's very strange, but I wonder whether the Green Party are after big pharma funding or whether they've had big pharma funding. But I think they're after some big pharma funding. They're not a party that I would ever, and I've never voted for, because I just think they're a load of crap. But I'm going to I mean, the party definitely does not support single-sex spaces, and by the looks of this, what I'm going to say now, they don't particularly have a good stance on child safeguarding either. As one of its members, and apparently Newham Green's Green councillor Nate Higgins, who has openly said the following. Now, he tweeted a couple of days ago, I'm going to read his tweet out. So he says, I submitted a late motion to the Green Party conference offering solidarity to Drag Queen Storytime Hour, supporting their age-appropriate work and calling out the demand for enhanced DBS checks as homophobic and transphobic. And he actually showed where he actually showed it is also he's actually I don't know, closed his account down at the moment, but yeah, I mean, this is what he said, and it's got all the details in there. What Nate Higgins has said to me, what has said, should I say, not to me, but what Nate Higgins has said concerns me a great deal. Firstly, as somebody who used to book drag acts, okay, I don't believe, okay, they should be entertaining children in libraries, full stop. I know I'm not alone in believing this. I think there are, excuse me, I've still got that little tiny bit of a cough. I'm definitely not alone in believing this. There are many people out there that actually believe that, you know, drag acts shouldn't be entertaining children, that it's not appropriate. You know, these are sexualized acts, and they shouldn't really be entertaining kids like this at all. and I'm very, very concerned about this. Secondly, enhanced DBS checks are required for all persons who work with children. To suggest those drag queens who are entertaining children shouldn't have to comply with acquiring a enhanced DBS check because it's homophobic and transphobic is pathetic nonsense. Yeah, I think that's an insult to LGB people. I think it's an insult to trans people. I think it's an insult to drag acts. It's definitely an insult to professional drag acts to suggest that these drag queens entertaining children shouldn't need a DBS check, an enhanced DBS check. Children require protection at the end of the day, and you need to know who they are. Although I'm not really sure that, as I said, drag queens shouldn't be entertaining children in this way anyway. But if in the next election you're considering voting for these complete idiots, like, can you just let me know why you would vote for the Green Party? Because I'd be very interested to know. I mean, this guy's a councillor, and we had another councillor, CM Berry, spouting out nonsense about that she approves of males, biologically born males, whether they identify, who identify as women, should I say, in these spaces, which a lot of women don't. And that's another councillor for the Green Party. I wonder whether the Green Party are actually pushing for, whether this is just, they know it's nonsense, and whether they're just pushing for big pharma money. Because we do know that puberty blockers companies and big pharma do donate to political parties. I think the Liberal Democrats, did they donate £1.5 million? Puberty blocker company donated £1.5 million to the Liberal Democrats, and they were, funnily enough, spouting out about this nonsense. So it's not about child safeguarding. They don't care about women. They don't care about ruining single-sex spaces. They just want money from the, maybe that's what it is. Because something's definitely amiss here. Something is definitely not right when you've got a political party coming out with nonsense. We all know that biologically born males shouldn't be in single safe spaces, and we all know, that we allow these biologically born males to continue to participate in women's sports. It will down women's sports. So, and I think the Green Party do know that, so they're doing this deliberate. But this councillor really, really concerns me. I mean, do I recall, though, that one of the drag queens in Drag Queen Story Hour in the United States turned out to be a paedophile? Now, I recall reading quite a lot about that in the press. I mean, this is a reality, you know what I mean, of what's happening. I mean, this is terrible. So, the DBS system really is all about child safeguarding, although from what I'm seeing with Drag Queen Story Hour, I question their safeguarding and what they're doing to kids. But it is, DBS is all about child safeguarding. And, I can't believe that somebody who's been asked to, or a drag queen who's been asked to get a enhanced DBS, that he's saying it's homophobic and transphobic, is an embarrassment to the gay community. And I don't think anybody can get any worse what they've done to the trans community, but I think it's an embarrassment to the trans community as well. It's embarrassment to kids as well to bring that suggestion. But he has pulled his account down, and he's put his account in protection, should I say. I should think not as well, I mean, nobody wants to read this crap. But I will read you the thread which this Green Party member, Nate Higgins, the councillor of Newham Green, put out, because I think it needs to be read out. But more importantly, I think it needs to be put on record, because he could delete this, and we need to know what this guy is like. Because obviously when we get an election, you know what I mean? When we have an election, I want to show people what Nate Higgins has been putting out. Define says everyone who works with kids should have a thorough police check. And that's right. And that's what DBS is. I mean, anybody who works with kids, I used to have my own entertainment agents, and I used to be an entertainer years ago. And anybody that works with kids has to have this enhanced DBS. I mean, it used to be the CBS check, I think, but now it's the DBS. But yeah, I mean that's right. We need to know, especially when you're entertaining kids, because it's very well, especially whatever you do with kids, because there are paedophiles out there, and if we don't know what they're like, if we don't get an enhanced check out of them, we could have paedophiles working with kids again, and this is the whole point of the DBS, to stop that happening, which is which is good. But I'm going to read Nate Higgins' tweet out. He's written a it's a kind of, he's written a few tweets under one, so he's written the whole thing. So let me read it out. So it says, Drag Queen Story Time, Drag Queen Story Hour UK, etc. are all doing vital work to ensure children encounter and learn about a wide range of age-appropriate inclusive topics, not often taught in traditional settings. Many children don't see their families represents in school. That's what he said. So what I want to argue about that tweet, okay, is that I'm not really sure that drag acts are doing, they're not, they're not doing vital work. This is causing a nuisance. This is upsetting a lot of parents. It's not doing vital work for for children at all. It's actually an embarrassment. It's a disgrace to the professional drag acts. Okay, it's an embarrassment to the gay community what they're doing, and this is causing a big stir across the Western world, particularly in America and the United Kingdom. So this is, now he wrote the next tweet that he's wrote on is, prejudice is a learned behavior. Children are not naturally discriminatory. We can end homophobia and transphobia by changing the way we teach our children. DQST and DQSH, which are the drag things, are vital to this. This isn't going to work. There's no way, that having a sexualized man reading to children is not going to end homophobia and transphobia like that. I think you're deluded, Nate, to be quite honest, but I'm glad I'm putting this on record, and I will be making sure that I save this clip for future reference. Nate goes on to say in another tweet that we have unfortunately seen far-right homophobic and transphobic aggressive demonstrations in the presence of children. These are doing far more harm to children than the events they're trying to stop. It's just a shame that when people speak out about women's rights and LGB rights, that they are being seen as far-right homophobic and transphobic aggressive demonstrations. They're not. These women are fighting for their rights. LGB people are fighting for their rights. And actually, parents are speaking out against the disgraceful things that the trans lobby are inflicting on everybody else. So again, Nate, I don't agree with that tweet that you put out, but it is on record to ensure that, when voting comes around, that everybody knows what you put up. Nate goes on to say in the next tweet, in this thread, there needs 50 proposers by, what's this? This needs 50 proposers. Oh yeah, I mean, it needs 50 proposers. So right, so I know what this is saying now. This needs 50 proposers by September the 9th. You can propose the motion by liking it on the conference platform, which has got the conference platform address, or by emailing the Green Party with the motion, your name and local party if you email. This is, and I can imagine, especially if the Green Party are trying to pull in funding from unscrupulous pharma companies, okay, big pharma companies, this is what the Green Party are going to do. And that's why I'm saying, don't vote for a filthy party like this. If this party thinks it's okay to pull the child safeguarding down from the DBS, this party is filth. Don't vote for a dirty party like this. In Nate's last tweet, he says, please share this motion widely on social media and in your local parties so it can get enough support. I'm confident it will get enough support, Nate, because that's what the Green Party stand for. The Green Party are disgusting. Okay, I see that from your councillors all the time, and that's why I personally won't be voting for the Green Party. If I lived in Newham, you would be the last person in there that I would be voting for. And I think that you're, to pull down child safeguarding like this, I wouldn't be allowed to say what I'm going to say, what I would want to say on YouTube. But let me just say this: I very much disagree with you, Nate, and I do hope that people out there can also see the issues of what this is. So I don't believe, full stop, that drag queens should be entertaining our children under the guise of the drag queen story hour, whatever. They are sexualized men who are portraying that out, and they should not be allowed to do that. I don't know why they're doing this. I don't know where our protection system is to stop this, but this is the way that the West have unfortunately fell under trans ideology. Hopefully one day we'll be able to put a stop to this. I'm also appalled on a separate note, but still talking about drag queen story hour. I'm appalled to see the masked men dressed in black brandishing AR-15 style rifles, waving rainbow flags outside a Tesco restaurant while drag queens perform to children inside. Is this the future of the LGBT alphabet soup community? It's not a good look. It's not nice. You know, people are angry about this for a reason. They're angry because sexualized men entertaining kids is just not right. And standing there with rifles and waving rainbow flags, this is an embarrassment to the lesbian, gay, and bisexual community. I'm not really sure what this is doing for the trans community, but this is disgraceful. I'm not sure scenes like this are actually doing anything for anybody's rights in that LGBT alphabet soup community. Well, there may be one community if it ever do, well, we won't go into that on YouTube, but I'm actually not sure that these drag queens, these sexualized men, drag queens, performing to children like this is actually doing anything for the drag profession either, or the many. In fact, drag acts who don't, you know, I'm not really sure it's doing anything for professional drag acts, except embarrassing them, really, except humiliating the industry. Because there's been a lot of talk about drag acts. A lot of people are getting angry with drag acts. There are good professional drag acts out there, but this is wrecking it. And this is really bringing the industry down. And that's another thing. It's not doing anything for professional. It just is not doing anything for professional drag acts at all. I can, you know, when I booked entertainment, I can just see these drag acts fuming about what these people are doing, about what these drag acts entertaining children are engaging in. You know, you look a big embarrassment. We sexualized men, you know, entertaining children, and you know, and so do these people brandishing these rifles and waving the flags. I mean, you know, it's disgraceful. It really is wrong. I'm really appalled to see this. I don't support this in any shape or form, and I doubt any sane, decent person would either. There's no wonder why lesbians, gay men, and bisexuals are walking away from the disgusting LGBT alphabet soup community, because it has become a disgusting community. Yeah. So my advice is to take these drag acts out of these libraries, and to stop reading to children and entertaining children. It's not appropriate. Okay. Moving on, we've got some good news on the pronoun nonsense front. I'm really pleased to hear that a teacher has been awarded $95,000 after she was suspended for refusing to refer to a trans student by their preferred pronouns. We all know that means that that's not the pronouns that they were born in. And like I've said, and I've said this on many occasions, this isn't doing anything for children. You know, it's you know, it's really not doing anything, you know, for kids by going along with this gender ideology, because most kids are not trans. The overwhelming majority of the population don't change their genders. It's only a minuscule of the population. It shouldn't be forced on a whole population, because it's damaging our children. It's confusing our children. And, you know, this student it might be in the fashion for this student at the moment, you know, to use different pronouns, but it's not in a teacher's work it's not in the teacher's interest or working wise to actually affirm a child's pronouns. And I'm glad that she was. And this should be a massive warning to every organisation, school district, and school authority, that you know, to show that people will not tolerate this pronoun rubbish, and it will cost you dearly if you force this nonsense onto the population. Teachers shouldn't affirm pupils, and they should stop. Stop. If they are doing that, they should stop. And so I'd like to say congratulations to this woman anyway for doing this. And Riley, middle school, I find you a disappointment. Stop gendering your students, because like many, they will eventually wake up to the damage that has been inflicted upon them. Nobody can know whether a child wants to change genders, because there's no such thing. If an adult wants to change genders, it's up to them. But you shouldn't be doing this to children. And it's not what you think. All this trans ideology has come out with so much nonsense. We actually now believe there are trans kids about. It's just silly. But anyway, that's that. So 94,000 was it? Yep, £95,000 compensation. I hope there are many more cases like that to come. Okay, so moving on into Wales, we've got we have concerned parents in Wales have lost their bid to stop kids from being taught and indoctrinated with gender theory from the age of 3. This is quite a disappointment, really. That parents are not allowed, and parents have got no control over the school for indoctrinating a kid's identity. It's unfortunate, but I expect more Welsh kids to be confused about their gender, and this is where it's all come from. I mean, we put this in schools, we put it on, they're putting it on social media, and this is why we've got kids all over the world, confused about the gender. That's why there's a massive rise in it, because years ago it was never discussed. Now it's been pushed onto kids. I find it very disappointing that parents have no control over school indoctrination of this kid's gender theory. It's of this gender theory that's been inflicted on kids, should I say. It's really upsetting, and I really do hope that more parents in Wales speak out. So for the people that are speaking out, please do keep speaking out and fighting. Most of the population are overwhelmingly heterosexual, and they don't have a gender change, you know what I mean? So forcing this gender rubbish and the likes onto the majority of the population from minuscule of the population is wrong, and will only add to the gender confused kids, like I've just said. But sadly, Wales has been fully captured by gender ideology. I hope more people speak out in Wales in the future. If you live in Wales, let me know your feelings on these latest developments. Are you concerned about the direction of the Welsh government on gender ideology? If you're not, you should be, because it will only, and this is going to be pushed and pushed and pushed, and it will only get worse. What do the Welsh people really think about the government being totally captured by gender ideology? Because I don't believe that the Welsh agree with this. I don't agree with the Welsh population. I don't agree that the Welsh population are in support of what the government's doing. It's a little bit like Scotland. Well, it's a lot like Scotland. Scotland have gone on with all this gender ideology, this trans nonsense, this, that, and the other. And, the people don't want that. This is not what the people want. So, do you think it's healthy for Wales? Let me know in the comments. My DMs are open on GETTR and Twitter. Please let me know. If you're Welsh, speak to me. Let's see what we can do. I think it's time that these Welshmen and Welsh women spoke out to protect the kids, protect women, and protect the whole Welsh society from a gender lobby hell-bent on changing Wales and not for the better. And it will get worse. Please let me know your thoughts in the comments or DM me. Most people have a sex and personality, not a gender ID. Thank you, Defiance. It's true. We do. We have a sex. People are born male or female. You know what I mean? And a personality. Yeah, exactly. We don't need to change, our gender in order to upgrade our personality. It's because most of us have got a personality. Absolutely. Right, so moving back onto women's sports, Jamie Hunter, a biologically born male who now identifies as a woman, is causing controversy after their victory in Seattle last weekend. This is another biologically born male walking off with the women's victory and prize, and you know, the world governing body of snooker and billiards chairman Jason Ferguson doesn't think it's an issue. You know, Jason stated that snooker doesn't suffer from the same trans issues affecting other sports. But Jason, it does. Women, that's biologically born female, have lost out to a title, a prize, a victory because a biologically born male has nabbed it. It really does affect it. It does. It, you know, it completely affects it. And I agree. Owen Jones doesn't have a personality. Is rubbish. That's why I don't read the Telegraph, and I don't. You know, I can't read his nonsense anyway. But he doesn't. It's crap. That's why I don't. Totally no personality. Personalityless. Yeah, absolutely, Amy. So Jamie Hunter should be banned from playing women's snooker. You know, it's happening in other sports. You know, so why can't the WPBSA respect women? They must respect women. They must respect women's rights and stop giving biologically born males, however they identify, a platform to cheat. You know, female sports is female sports. Males shouldn't be in female sports, and you know, biologically born males, however they identify, shouldn't be given access to women's only spaces in these sport venues anyway, as well, should I say. Okay, so moving on. Okay, moving on to have we got time? Yeah, we've got time. We've only got 10 minutes left. I've still got quite a lot to get through, but something in the US that's been brought to my attention: the California district curriculum now claims that there are 10 sexual orientations. This, I hope the camera's not banging. I'm trying to hold this, and this is extremely homophobic, you know, to suggest this, and gay people should be very, very angry at this utter nonsense. You know, if you're angry about this, let me know in the comments. DM me. You know, my DMs are open. But you know, I don't know why gay people are standing for this, and some people are agreeing with this. You know, I mean, there's a lot of gay people speaking out about it. Be them gay people that are speaking out about it. You know, it's just unbelievable that, you know, the California district curriculum is now claiming there's 10 sexual orientations when there clearly isn't. This is just made up crap that they're now teaching to kids. You know, gay people, get angry. You know, speak out about this rubbish, please, because it's rubbish. You know, but to be honest, everybody should be angry at the California district for allowing this utter nonsense, you know, which we all know is utter crap. How can there be 10 sexual orientations? Can somebody send a proof? No, of course they can't, because it's all nonsense. But this is unfortunately what we are indoctrinating our children with, and they're the ones who are suffering out of this. So people across America, please speak out about this absolute bullshit and nonsense, because the LGBT alphabet supergender is and will get worse. It's not going to stop at this. I mean, you know, next year there'll be 20 sexual orientations, and it'll be indoctrinated in quite, you know, more intense than what it is now. If you think it's bad now, you see what they do later on. So they're not going to stop at 10 sexualities and also 8 genders. It's 8 genders in the California district curriculum for some reason. I mean, it varies from school district to school district, and it varies from country to country as to how many genders that there are. But, you know, in the California district, there's only 8. You know, in others, there's hundreds. I mean, I think in one, I think there were 10 million, you know. This is how stupid things are getting. But these people are indoctrinating your children. You know, do something about it as a concerned parent, as a concerned adult, as an adult. You know, this, you wouldn't have liked this to happen to you when you was at school. So speak out. Because these people are not going to, they're not going to stop indoctrinating your children with this gender confusing nonsense, because it's in the interests of this, you know, the big pharma. You know, they're going to make the profit out of the puberty blockers. When they've confused your child, you know, suddenly the big pharma jumps in and here's the puberty blockers, here's the cross-sex hormones, and then we go on to the surgery. It's a multi-billion-pound industry. This is what this is all about. There's no 10 sexualities, and there certainly isn't 8 genders. There's 2. It's called male and female. Please speak out. Please speak out about this nonsense being inflicted on our children. It's not right. And Big Pharma, it's very likely Big Pharma have got their teeth into this. It wouldn't surprise me if they actually, from what I'm seeing, it wouldn't have surprised me if they actually did this piece of rubbish, you know. But, you know, please speak out. You know, that's yeah. So speak out. Okay, moving on. What I want the near enough the last thing I want to say, because I know I'm running out of time. But why are mermaids and gendered intelligence receiving taxpayers' cash through a loophole? I mean, why they're receiving taxpayers' cash anyway? I don't know. To promote their dangerous ideology, but. They're receiving taxpayers' cash through a loophole. Thankfully, Jacobs Rees-Mogg has made a pledge to set up a ministerial oversight board, which should stop such money disappearing into the hands of these ghastly organizations. The tide is turning on gender ideology, as we know, and I think the tide is starting to turn on mermaids and gendered intelligence. And I hope that in time, that both them organizations will be just shut down where they should be, absolutely shut down. Yeah. So again, mermaids are attacking LGB Alliance, so please do support LGB Alliance if you can and share the petition. But yeah, this tax thing really does need stopping. So all along, mermaids and gendered intelligence, as we've suspected, is grabbing taxpayers' cash. This will hopefully stop it. Or it'll stop it'll stop the loophole anyway. I'm not sure whether it'll stop mermaids and gendered intelligence grabbing any more taxpayers' cash, but there we go. Well, please like and share this stream and let me know your feelings on gender and its ideology in the comments. As I say, my DMs are open. So if you've got any information that you want to expose, contact me via Twitter or GETTR, via DM. You can put comments in the information below, stick the comments below. You can comment on any other site that you see this, because I know that, as I say, this has been cross-platform now. It's going on to a lot of platforms. So if it's on another platform, please do comment, ask questions. I do try to answer people, and I do try to see all comments. But the best way to contact me is DMing. But even if you do it on YouTube, I do look at all comments on YouTube. So yeah, if you've got anything about you work in a gender clinic and you want to expose something, or you're working in a school and they're forcing you to use pronouns, or they're forcing you to implement gender ideology, let's expose this. You can go to journalists. There's plenty of people out there that can take your story, but let's expose this together. Let's finish this gender ideology off, because it's a dangerous ideology that's ruining the very fabric of our society. So please do contact me. My DMs, as I say, are open. Thank you to everybody watching this evening, including Amy and Defiance, and the people who watch this stream afterwards, and the people who watch this stream on other platforms, and the people who are probably going to watch in a week or 2 weeks or in a month's time or in a year's time or in 10 years' time. Thank you for watching. The next stream is on Wednesday. Please join me on the night. So have a good evening, everybody, and see you on the next stream. Yep. So yeah, I've run out of things for tonight, but please, do join me on Wednesday. And let's chat. Let's put comments in the comments in the chat, so we can have a good chat. And let's get this stream up and running. Let's expose everything, and let's get out there. Do you know what I mean? And try to peak as many people as possible. Well, thanks for joining me, for everyone who's joining me, and thanks again, Defiance and Amy, for joining me. I look forward to seeing you on the next stream. Thank you. Bye.